Okay, so welcome to the NILE Zoom training. Okay, it's an online CELTA, so you all need to do a little bit of Zoom training just to refresh you, or if you've not used much Zoom before, to start understanding how it all works. You're going to be using Zoom every day on the course. Okay, so we're going to go through some of the features. There are just so many, and yeah, they keep updating them as well and keep changing. So hopefully they'll be the same all the way through your course. Um, but let's go through some of the basics. Okay, starting off, let's have a look here. Uh, First thing I should mention is what happens if you accidentally collapse Zoom. And it might happen right at the very beginning if you hit one of that cross in the top right hand corner by mistake and Zoom disappears. What should you do?
Rejoin.
Log back in.
Yeah, exactly. Just go straight back to that link. So a good thing to do is whenever you're going on the CELTA day, have that link at hand so that if you need to just rejoin at any moment, you can. It's not a big problem. And then the tutor will let you back in again. Okay, so that's the first thing to remember. What I'd like you to do is there's two buttons on the bottom left. If you hover your mouse over, you should be able to mute yourself and unmute yourself. Could you give that a go, please? Can you see and hear everybody? Well, maybe yes, maybe not. Your screen might look like the one that's behind me. It might look just like that, where you only get to see one person's face. What I'd like you to do is try and use the gallery view so you could see everybody. If you look at the top right, you should be able to see gallery view. You should be able to see everybody. Raise your hand if you've used Zoom before. Okay, can you do that electronically? Can you raise an electronic hand? Okay. If you're not sure where to go, at the bottom, you should see reaction. You can react to something. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thumbs up. Okay, we've got thumbs up. You can raise a hand as well. Do you know how to raise the hand button? There's one there that says raise hand. Thank you. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay. How are you feeling? Let's see an emoji. Christopher, love it, love it, love it. Okay. Okay. Everybody's managed to work out where the emojis are. That's good. Okay. Sometimes when you're teaching, you might have to minimize the Zoom meeting so that you can get to other things on your computer. Now, be careful with this one because when you do that, something strange sometimes happens. Watch this. Oh, suddenly it shrinks and it becomes a very small image and there are no controls. And you think, what am I going to do? I've got no controls. How do I get out of that? Well, the way to get out of that is you just hover over the image. Once you've hovered over the image, there's some controls at the bottom and then you can expand. I'd just like you to give that one a go. So try it for yourselves. Minimize, hover over, and expand. Okay, brilliant. What's wrong with this picture here?
Can't see your mouth.
Exactly. We want to be able to see the full. You want to look at the eyes. You want to see the mouth. The problem is that just the camera is just at the wrong angle. Okay, so what about this one? What's wrong with this one?
The lighting.
Yeah, it is. As you can see at the moment, it's starting to get dark here in the UK. So I've got myself a lamp here. And so the lamp is just coming to one side. It's really good if you've got something that will illuminate your face so that your students can see you. Okay. What's wrong with this one?
Maybe you're showing your personal things a bit too much.
Yeah, exactly. It's a distraction, isn't it? Yeah, even if you've just got a library with lots of books on it that you like, maybe other your students are going to try and read. Oh, what's that? What's my teacher reading? And they're not really paying attention to you. Or lots of photos on the wall, and it's a bit of a distraction. So what I'd like to do is see of ways of we can avoid doing that. And as if we go down to the camera button on the left, there's a little arrow. Could you try and blur your background? Suzelle, I can see you've already blurred your background, but could everybody just have a go
Yes.
at blurring the background?
That's something new. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me have a look at a face-to-face classroom. There's the teacher. Those are the students. Okay. And here is an online Zoom classroom that I just so happened to be teaching the other day. Uh, you can
Brilliant.
see that it's similar but different. Well, of course, the students are different there. Uh, yeah. So, okay. What's the problem with this?
You don't know whether they're actually online or not.
Well, yeah, they're
They might
online,
have,
I think, but you don't
I
know.
mean, they've gone to make a cup of tea or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I taught in high schools during lockdown, and students did that. I think they were playing on other consoles or something. So what you have to do is just have to make sure that they're going to press those buttons to undo them. Okay, good. Um, has everybody entered the classroom? Are all my students there? Do I know? How can I tell? Okay, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to press the participants button on at the bottom of your Zoom, and you should be able to see a window should appear with all of our names there.
Ah.
Yep. And if you look at the screen behind me, the one here, you can see at the top left there, it says, I can't reach over to that. Yeah, there's somebody waiting in the waiting room. So I know that not everybody is there. A good habit to get into is when you start Zoom, press on the participants and get the participant window working. Let's have a look at a timetable. Here we've got a timetable. Look at some of the typical things that we might do. In the morning, we're typically doing input sessions. And here we're going through teaching methodology. We're giving you lots of new ideas, some new activities to do. All of those are happening on this timetable in the morning. In that case, your tutor is in control, full control of what's going on in the classroom. They're going to be managing the classroom. But if we look in the afternoon, we have TP, teaching practice sessions. Teaching practice sessions are when you get to practice being teacher. And in that case, you're going to be in full control and you're going to be manipulating Zoom. So let's just have a look at a classroom. Okay, here, this is a typical CELTA classroom, face-to-face one. Who are those people in the square at the back? Who do you think they might be?
Observers
Maybe.
or trainees?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Only one person teaches at a time, so we'll have one person teaching at the front. The others are at the back, and as you can see in face to face, they're at the back and they're out of the way. The students can't really see them. Okay, and who's that? Well, there's an arrow pointing to one person. Who's that one person? The tutor will be sitting there watching, seeing how everything's progressing. And they'll be sitting to one side. Again, the students won't see them, but the teacher will be able to see all the observers and the tutor as well.
Mhm.
But what happens on an online class when we're doing it? Um, we need to observe unobtrusively. We need to be out of the way in the same way here. But how are we going to do that when we're observing? Any ideas?
With the camera off, maybe?
Exactly. Muted, camera off. Okay, good. Okay. So remember those two buttons are going to be quite important. Okay. So who has control of the Zoom meeting? Well, I just told you that for this session and for input sessions, it's going to be your tutor. I've
The
got
host.
control here. Sorry?
The host.
The host, exactly. The host has control. Okay. But we might want to give somebody else the control because they're going to teach. So they need to become the host or what we call a co-host. And to do that, if you just hover over the name of somebody, you can see that 3 dots appear. And on those 3 dots, if you're going to be teaching, I might make you host or co-host. And then at the end, if you're the host, you'd need to pass the control on to the next person who's teaching. And to do that, you go over onto the participants window, highlight the name, go to the 3 dots. Could you just do that? Just highlight somebody, go to the 3 dots, and just have a look at the drop-down menu. Let me just, Ruth, I'm just going to make you host.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
Click on somebody else. Can you see a few other options?
Yeah.
Okay, could you just pass the host over to somebody else in the room?
Christopher, it should be you.
Is it? Okay, hang on.
Can you click on the 3 dots and then pass the host to somebody else?
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'll tell you what I can see in my drop-down menu.
Mm-hmm.
In Spotlight for Everyone, rename.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to
In your
pass.
3, so click on my name, for example,
Okay, I see. Yeah.
and go to the 3 dots.
Yeah.
And then can you go down to where it says make host?
That's for you, Nile 4. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you want to change the host to Nile 4? Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I'm now the host again. When might you need to rename yourself? Well, look at me. I'm Nile 4. That's not very helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over my name, go on the 3 dots and tick rename. And I'm just going to call myself Morris. There we go. Can you try doing that? Rename yourself to anything you like. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Okay, got Julie Andrews here. Wow. You might need to rename a student. Now, how do we do that? If you're the host, you can just hover over anybody's name and just rename their name. Now, getting students to rename themselves is quite useful when they've written their name in, if they're from Japan, they might have Japanese kanji, and nobody can possibly read that unless you're from Japan. So, yeah, it's a good idea to ask your students to rename themselves so that everybody knows who's there. Okay. Okay, how can you send a message to your students or to anybody in the group? Well, there's a button at the bottom. It's the chat button. Could you go down to the chat at the very bottom and click on and then the word chat, and a new window should come up, the chat window. If you've got the chat window, could you say hello? Oh, already. Yes. Could you say hello? Okay, is that everybody? Everybody's managed to chat? Good. Okay. Yep. So my top tip is whenever you start Zoom, first of all, put in the participants, open up the participants window, and also open up the chat window. Okay. Sometimes you might want to send your students something that's on your screen, for example. The way we can do this is at the bottom of your chat window, you've got 3 buttons. Let's have a look at that. Here we go. If we click on the first button to the right, you've got a screenshot. Would you like to try doing something? Have a little play with that button and see what you can send. There we go. Thank you. Lovely. Excellent. So what might happen is on your screen, you might have some questions that you want the students to answer at home, or maybe in a breakout room, which we'll just talk about in a moment. And so you might just want to copy something and send so that everybody has a copy of what was on the screen. Okay. If you only want to send it to one student, or maybe you just want to send your tutor a message and you just want to say, you can actually send a message by clicking on the 2. You can choose who you're sending a message to. Could you send somebody, not everybody, but send somebody in the room a message? Okay, thumbs up if you managed to receive a message from somebody. Okay, I'm going to send everybody a file. So I'm going to click on the next button in, and I'm going to go through my computer. I've got to look at my desktop, and I'm going to be sending you an email from your main course tutor. Okay. If you get this message, could you thumbs up? Brilliant. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. So you can send people all sorts of things through different types of files through that button. You can download it by clicking on it. Could you try downloading that message and then resending it to everybody?
Right. Who? Sorry, Maurice.
Yeah, Chris, were you able to download
Indeed, I was. I was
Oh.
just looking in the wrong file for it.
Okay. Could you
So
upload it?
Yeah, who do you want me to send it to?
The whole group. The great thing
Okay.
now is you might notice that you'll have to change the 2, because if you just said something to somebody, just one person,
Sure.
it might stay there. And so when you're messaging one person and then in the lesson you want to message the whole group, be careful, because you might then just send the message just to one, thinking you've sent it to the whole group, but you haven't really. Yep. So if you go to the bottom and you click on share, let me just get to that window. There's a little green arrow button, and you should be able to have different options of what to share. Let's just see if Ruth, could you just try sharing your screen and see what happens?
When I'm clicking on it, it said share. Oh, I've requested. Yes. I'm not sure what I'm doing now. Hold control. No. Let me see. Is that doing it?
Yes, it says Ruth has started sharing her screen. Yeah, there we go. So you can share your screen as well.
It's not very interesting. Sorry.
No, but it's working. Okay, could you close it, stop your share?
Yep.
There's a red button at the bottom that says stop share. That's good.
Thank you.
Okay. If you look at my the screen behind me at the moment, we've got share options, so you could choose which screen to share with them, everybody, when you went up there. The different things that you can share, there's different buttons. It says share sound, optimize for video sharing. So if you're going to be sending a sound or doing something that involves sound that you're going to share, please remember to tick the sound button. And if you're going to be doing like a YouTube video or something like that, please remember to tick the video button as well. Okay, whiteboards. You might see that there's a whiteboard option. When I share, I'll set it up. When I share go to documents at the top and go to the whiteboard. There's one I can share a whiteboard with everybody. And on there, I could write hello. As you can see, my handwriting isn't very good. Is that working? Good. Okay. Can you write anything on there? Yeah. Chris has written something on there. Yeah, okay. So you can get students to write things on there too. There are options here to allow different people to write different things on there. As a high school teacher, having taught, as I was saying, teenagers in lockdown, you have to be really careful. They might draw some rude things or something that you don't want them to draw. So you've got to really be careful what permissions you give them when they're doing the whiteboard.
That's really useful, but I can't see where that option is on mine.
Oh, right. Okay. So when you go to share,
Yes.
yeah, at the very top, you've got screens, documents, and advanced.
I've got a
Yep.
whiteboard button down the bottom.
Yeah, so some of you do actually have a whiteboard button and you can go straight into the whiteboard there. Some of you have got the more button. If at the bottom, there's like a circle with 3 dots and it says more. If you go there, there's another way to get to the whiteboard. There are so many ways of getting in and navigating. How do we play audio? Now, some people like to just say, okay, I'm going to embed an audio into my PowerPoint. And then when I share, I click on the option that way. That works. Okay. Some people prefer to do it by going to share, open up the audio, and then there's one behind me just here somewhere. Yep. Open up the audio file and then share that. So for example, if I just change my share, I'm going to share and this file. Oh, there we go. Yep. And then I can just click on play.
1.6. 1.
Do you have a big family?
Yes,
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. So another way is, well, with most things, when you're doing Zoom, it's great to, when you're teaching a lesson, prepare all the things you're going to need to use for your lesson. So an audio file, get it ready, get it at the right point, ready to play, and then you share that one and away it goes. But remember to tick the, on the share button, it says for sound. What are the words it says? It says, yeah, share sound. Here in this picture, you can see behind me, there's a teacher. Oh, that's me. And he put the students into groups and he's monitoring, going around, checking on the students, see how they're doing. Now, in Zoom, we can still do the same thing. We can put people into groups, but we call these breakout rooms. Okay. Now, you might see at the bottom, it says, so you click on there and you will see different options available to you on how to set up a breakout room. I'd just like to have a look at those for a moment. If we can just close that for a second. Here we go. Which of these options do you think we should use?
I would say the third option.
Yes. So that's a good idea so that you want them to move in. When you say move, don't give them a choice. They will automatically go into breakout rooms. Yeah. Anything else?
How long would you normally spend in there? 30 minutes seems like a long time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
How would you know how long the activity is going to last?
Hmm. You don't necessarily.
You don't, do you? So you have to go around and monitor each group and see how they're doing, and then you can close the room depending. So breakout rooms close automatically. I wouldn't do that. What about a countdown after closing the breakout rooms?
I think yes,
I
it gives
like
them
it.
the chance
Hmm.
to know that the time is over and they should just wrap up and finish.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying if you're in halfway in a sentence and suddenly, boom, somebody cuts you off. It's nice, and there's a countdown clock that comes on. You've got. But I think giving them a minute is too long. 10 seconds, that's not bad. It gives them a chance to wind up when you want everything to wind up. What else? The second one there, allow participants to return to the main session at any time. For kids, maybe not, but for adults, yeah, why not? You might find that two students just don't get on well with each other, and they might not want to be in the same room. And so to give them that option to move out. Yeah, the same as when you're allocating people to go into breakout rooms, it might be wise to think about who's going into each room to start with. If you get it wrong, you can move people around. You click on that button and you can just move them into another room if they're not doing well. But we have had problems on courses before. As you can imagine, recently with Russians and Ukrainian students, they don't want to be in the same breakout room, understandably so. So, we don't put them in the same breakout room, or if we've accidentally done it, give them that option to move back into the main room, and then we can reassign them to another room. Okay, and let's just have a little go. Chris, could you put everybody?
Actually, so I think what I see it's already been done.
Okay, if you go recreate rather than create, yeah, go for it.
How
So,
many rooms do we want?
how many should we do? We should make it three because there's two
Three?
already there. So, just to make it different,
Yeah. And assign automatically. Yeah.
you can do, or you can move people around.
I'm just going to do it automatically, I guess. Recreate. There we go. Okay. And of course, I'm not there because I'm the teacher, so I'm
And you're
not.
going to enter them. So open them up. So it says open all rooms. Let's go in there. We'll end up there. And can you then go into each breakout room in turn just to see if you can move between them?
Join. I'm going to join yours, Maurice. All right, to start
Okay.
with.
And then after you've been there, then close all rooms and we'll all come back out again.
Okay. Right. Hello.
Hello. Did you close everybody?
No.
So if you go to breakout rooms
Yep.
and then it
Breakout
says close
rooms.
all rooms,
Close all rooms. There we go.
would somebody else like to have a go at setting up some breakout rooms? Can you have a
I'd
go?
like to try, but I'm not convinced I'm going to be able to do this.
And go to
Right.
options when you go in there first. So click on the breakout room button. Yeah.
Yes.
Go to options.
Yes.
See the options. Everybody could
Yes.
do this at the moment. So allow participants to choose. No, we don't want that. Allow them to return to the main session at any time. Yes. Automatically, the next one we need to tick. Automatically move assign.
Yes.
So we do that and count down at the bottom after 60 seconds. No, let's just change that to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Recreate the rooms, change them
yeah.
around a bit.
Okay.
And do you want to assign them manually this time?
Okay.
So create 3 breakout rooms, but assign manually, and
Assign.
put whoever you like into whichever room.
Okay. And then is it open all rooms?
Open all rooms, and we should automatically go into a room.
Does that work? So how do I look into the different rooms?
Right. So now you go click on the breakout room. Yeah. And then you can join.
Ah,
See on the
yes.
right-hand side, you can just join whichever room you want to join.
I see. Thank you.
Okay. How was that?
That was good. So I went into room 1 and then I
Okay.
left the room.
Okay. Can you now kill all the breakout rooms?
Let me
Get
see.
everybody to return to here?
Close all rooms.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. 10-second countdown.
That's it. They'll get a 10-second countdown, and so they'll then return quickly.
Hooray.
Here's a teacher, and he's listening to conversations unobtrusively, in the middle, just monitoring, listening. How are we doing this online?
Camera,
Camera.
mic.
Yeah, camera and mic off. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
But the
that's good.
students will still see that we're there, right?
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you appear with your camera on, it does actually make a difference. It's like somebody interrupting your conversation. They pay attention. As trainees, when you're observing, it's going to be good for you to just move around the breakout rooms as you want. Of course, you're going to be doing it with your cameras off and you're going to be muted and you're not taking part, you're just observing, but just so that you can observe the different rooms, that's going to be very helpful. So you will be, as co-hosts, have that ability to move around as you feel you'd like to. When we've got a breakout room happening, we do have an extra option, and that is share your screen to breakout rooms. A breakout room is really like a completely new Zoom meeting, but it is possible now to broadcast your screen. So if you've got some questions you want them to discuss in their breakout rooms, remember to tick the share to breakout room button when you're doing that.
I think it's great the option of that we can share the screen for all the breakout rooms, but I was wondering if it is possible to send a message to all the students in all the breakout rooms. Does it work?
Yes. Okay. Just a quick word about the hardware that you might need. So basically, you do need a laptop and a good, stable internet connection. If you've got chance of a backup somewhere, in case it goes down, brilliant. If you've got a mobile phone that's got lots of bandwidth, that's brilliant as well. You've got a backup. Some people go a little bit crazy. This is a photo I took earlier on today. What do we got here? Little things that you might find useful. A mouse. I like a mouse, but not everybody does. Headphones, you can hear that. See that I've got those on. They're useful, but not everybody uses them. A stand for your laptop. I like that as well because if you're sitting at a desk all day, I like to look straight into the camera. I like to raise my laptop up a little bit. And if I'm doing that, then I also need a keyboard underneath, a clock as well. You might like a clock so you can see. But most computers have a clock on them, so that's not a problem either. You might prefer a different camera to the one you've got on your laptop. Fine as well. But a basic laptop camera is good. A second screen, sometimes useful. I've got one here with extra notes on, but totally up to you. Then the mouse pen, if you're writing and drawing things, can be helpful. And then there's my mobile phone on a camera tripod thing that to hold it there. But again,
If you just have a fiddle around, I was just looking on more, and it's got things like polls and quizzes and captions and all sorts of things, aren't there?
yeah, there's so much there. Tonight we're just looking at the basics, the things
Yeah.
that you're going to be using most on a CELTA course. thank you. I hope it's been a little bit helpful, and good luck on the CELTA course.
Thank
Enjoy.
you so much.
Okay, thanks very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye,
then.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.